Everything that you're exposed to has an impact on your own vibrational frequency. Okay? And why does your vibrational frequency matters? Because you are a connecting device for the divine light. And so if your connecting device doesn't hold the proper vibrational frequency, you're just not able to channel this type of light through your device. We understood that we are designed as a light vessel, and that automatically, just by taking care of the vessel, the light work is done through us automatically. But we still have to take care of three things. First of all, we have to take care of maintaining the vessel clean. Okay, that's number one. We need to take care of maintaining a high frequency. And third of all, we need to state the intention of what we would like to use the vessel for. Okay? So those are the three poles of work that you want to focus on. We already spoke about how I came up with the idea that light work is very aligned with the Jewish purpose, okay, the purpose of the Jewish nation, and how it would be actually very interesting and very good to be able to tap into this part of the work that we're supposed to do, because that would allow us to, first of all, to align with our higher purpose and to take the place that we're supposed to take, to fulfill the role that we're supposed to fulfill. Now, the thing is that it's true that because of the diaspora and deportations, that the Jews were scattered all around the world, it was hard to keep up with that part of the function of the Jewish people, because we were very busy with survival issues, even though, of course, the scholars have always been very aware of this. But let's say that in the collective consciousness of the Jewish people, it was not something that was like something urgent to take care of. Pure spiritual work became reserved to really like very initiated scholars. Okay? And so even today, what is your opinion? Is it something that is going to be welcomed with a lot of curiosity and enthusiasm? Or is it something that is going to be like, I have too much to take care of? There are things that are more urgent in life. The way the Jewish nation was designed, and the contract that God had with Abraham, it was to make this nation as a nation of priests for God. And so we were supposed to all be tuned deeply into the spiritual component of the Jewish practice. Now, even during the time of the Bet HaMikdash, we lost it at some point. When the story of Hanukkah, you can see the story of Hanukkah, what happened. The Greeks, they were challenging the Jews, with Brit Milah, with Taharat HaMishpacha, with Shabbat. And they were really challenging them to really actually find what was the core reason why they wouldn't light the menorah, for example, with impure oil. Why they wouldn't eat this non-kosher meat. And they were like, okay, this in front of you, I put 2 pieces of meat, one kosher and one non-kosher, okay? You don't know which one is which, okay? Yet, you're ready to die, to not be forced to eat the non-kosher one. Why? You're not even able to make the difference. And it's true. You see two pieces of meat in front of you. Are you able to do it? To make the difference? You're not able anymore to make the difference. Why? Vibrationally speaking, those two pieces of meat are very, very different. Okay? But we lost the ability to determine, to identify things on a vibrational level. The whole secret of the Jewish practice is there. When you do Netilat Yadayim in the morning, what's the point to do Netilat Yadayim in the morning? You have to do it with a keli, with a glass, you have to take it this way, and do 1, and do 2, and do 3. If you don't do it this day, it's not Netilat Yadayim. And all the Jewish, the Jewish rituals, they are like that. Now, if you actually awaken your sense, perceive the vibrational level of things, you are going to be able to understand, yes, what's the difference. And we see in the Gemara, we see the many stories that were related, where actually some tzaddikim, sometime they were presented with food that ended up not being kosher, and for some reason they just didn't want to eat. They didn't know it was not kosher. So we have many stories related like this in the Torah, where we see that the people that were tuned enough, they were able to make a difference between two things that look exactly the same, but they don't hold the same vibrational frequency. Okay, now why does it matter? It matters because everything that you're exposed to has an impact on your own vibrational frequency. Okay? And why does your vibrational frequency matters? Because you are a connecting device for the divine light. And so if your connecting device doesn't hold the proper vibrational frequency, you're just not able to channel this type of light through your device. So to go back to what we said with Adam, how Adam has been designed, Adam and Chava, they've been designed with a light body that was exceptional. The amount of light they were able to contain was so great that people, when they were created, the people who were living there, they thought that they were divinities. Okay? So they were designed with this ability to contain a huge amount of light. Now they lost this light body, okay, with the Yeridat, what we call Yeridat Odorot. This light body has been lost, of course, already from the time of the sin of Adam and Chava, you know, huge part of it has been lost, but we continued until Noah, we continued to go down, okay, and from Noah we see that there is a rupture. Or already, even after Noah, we see already, you know, people were living longer, etc. We reach a kind of normalization with Avraham, Yitzhak, Yaakov. We see they were living like 130 years, 140 years. You know, we're starting, and with Yitzhak we see the emergence of sickness, which did not exist before. People were just dying when their time was over. Okay, and with so we see also the sign of old age also appearing at this time. Okay, because before Avraham, everybody remained the same, fresh and young looking and no sickness until the day they were dying. Okay, you knew that, right? So actually it's the Avot themselves, Yitzhak and Yaakov, they actually prayed first of all to see the deterioration on the physical shell, okay, in case of non-alignment. So if somebody was not aligned, okay, if somebody was not aligned on a spiritual level, there would be a consequence on the physical shelf. They would be able to see a manifestation, okay, on their physical shelf. Before that, it didn't happen. So people who were going off, they didn't have any indication to know that they're on the wrong track. Also, because there was no sign of getting old, they did not have time to get ready to leave. They had the Peter Pan syndrome all their life until they were about to die, even if they were 900 years. Okay, maybe it was even hard for men, you know, because and so, you know, just one day they were going like poof, sneeze, yeah, and then they were gone. They were going in this way. Okay, so we see a more or less, I would say, a normalization. I say more or less because we see that Rivka was 3 years old and she was already considered as an adult. Okay, so we see something that looks like more a body that looks more like the one we are holding today. But it took many generations to arrive where we are. And that's why we're calling that Yeridat Hadorot. Okay? In science, we speak about evolution, how the cavemen, you know, how today people are evolved from the cavemen. And we, the Jewish people, we speak about devolution. Okay? The truth is that they are both right. It's just that we are not speaking about the same species. We are not talking about the same human species. We were speaking about the fact that we understood that we are designed as a light vessel, and that automatically, just by taking care of the vessel, the light work is done through us automatically. But we still have to take care of three things. First of all, we have to take care of maintaining the vessel clean. Okay, that's number one. We need to take care of maintaining a high frequency. And third of all, we need to state the intention of what we would like to use the vessel for. Okay? So those are the three poles of work that you want to focus on. Setting the intention is something that I personally redo very regularly. For example, every time I'm opening the sacred space for a session, with sometimes with the collective, I'm restating my intention to align with the higher divine purpose for the planet, for humanity, for the world. Okay? I'm always restating my intention. When I do journeys, I always restate my intention. I'm also emitting the intention that I only want to meet people that are aligned, like during journeys, you know, that are aligned with this highest intention, that are aligned with the divine. Okay? So that is something, your intention is the GPS. Okay? The world is so vast. You need to give a direction to your vessel. Your vessel can contain anything. It's a vessel. Okay? Now, when you set the intention, you're programming your vessel. You're telling your vessel, I am programming you to hold light for that specific purpose of serving the divine purpose on earth. That's what I'm programming you for. So, setting the intention, that's easy. You have to remember that. And if you pray, for example, every day, or if you meditate, or whatever you do when you wake up in the morning, when you do Modéani, for example, you can restate your intention at this moment. We spoke about the fact that we need to clear the vessel and to maintain its good condition. So what can affect the condition of the vessel is anything that would have a low vibrational frequency. Okay, this includes food. That's the reason why we have the kashrut guidelines, I would say, the kashrut guidelines. Words, everything that you hear. And that's why we have to pay attention about lashon hara, about anything that is not proper words that might reach out to our ears, because they could actually clog our ears chakras. Okay, you also have chakras in your ears, and they can clog your ears. And so you were speaking about the noise, Milena, but yes, the noise is one major thing, because the noise carries vibrational frequency. And so if this frequency doesn't match with your frequency, it becomes a disturbance. Okay, so the music that you're listening and the people that you choose to hang out with, that are going to speak into your ears, they will impact greatly your vessel. Okay? Because the words, they are frequencies, and those frequencies, they enter you and they mix with your general vibrational frequency. So you have to filter. Okay? The ears, they're here to filter what comes in. So you have what comes through the mouth, what comes through the ears, even the smell. We say in the Torah, it's written that, when the of the Lilim, they do they give offerings to Avodah Zarah, it's better not to smell this smell. Okay, and in the Bet HaMikdash, they had the avodah with the ketoret, the incense that they were using. Okay, they had a very, very specific, exact recipe on what herb to mix with what. I think there were like 10 herbs, and they had there was a family that was holding the secret exactly how to do that mixture. And all of them, if you would take them separately, they were had a disgusting smell. But when you put exactly that recipe together, that was making a very, very special smell. It was so powerful that whoever was actually using those incense outside of the Bet HaMikdash, outside of the service of the Kohanim, was like chayav mita. It was very bad to do that. Okay? So same with, yes, tell me.
How do you let's say after it already happened, so with the ears, you hear things, your ears are clogged. How do you?
So you can say, so, well, first of all, we just, in the mentorship group, we just did a meditation to clear the ears and the kidneys. And you know what? Maybe I will post it for you.
In this group?
No, the mentorship group where we do individual healing. So I just worked on this yesterday.
Wow.
Yes, maybe.
I'm working on my ears. I have an issue with my ears.
You know what? I will forward you the meditation.
Thank you.
So so basically you are you need to filter, and if something comes and you actually don't want to if somebody say lashon hara, for example, and you don't want to take this in, you say ani lo mekabel. Okay, you can choose ma ata mekabel, what you enter in your system, what you allow to enter in your system, and what you don't allow to enter your system.
Right, but this is moving forward. But what if you already have?
If you already have, you can visualize that everything that enter, you go back. You go back. For example, you send it to the earth. You just visualize everything coming out and going to the center of the earth. Okay. This is so in the mentorship program, we do very specific protocol on how to clear the vessel. In this group, I cannot do that because it's very long. It's 2 months work every single day to learn how to clear the vessel. In this group, we are really focusing on the collective healing and explaining how we can do that on a collective level. If someone wants to go more deeply on how to clear the vessel on individual level, I invite you to join the next mentorship program or to do the program online. You can also do it alone online. It's true that we have an individual vessel and we need to take care of the individual vessel, but we also have a collective vessel. Okay, so now in this group we are taking care of the collective vessel, but we only can do that, of course, if we have a healthy individual vessel. There you're an adult and you can decide, you can decide to filter. Okay, but when you're a child and you have accumulated all kind of stuff and you didn't know you could filter, so of course you now here with a pile of garbage of all kind of words that entered your field that you never wanted to be there in the first place. They should have never been there in the first place, whether they are from parents that use inconsiderate words, or from teachers, or from siblings, or from kids in school. We all have a pile of all kind of words that are very low vibrational frequency that we endorsed against our will. So you have to take care, of course, of what you're eating, what you're hearing, what you're saying, okay, what you're smelling, but also all the emotions that you are holding in your field. Okay? All the low vibration emotion that you are holding in your field, they are actually clogging your field, your vessel. And instead of being able to channel light, you're not channeling anything, you're full of clogged. Okay? You're just full of clogs because those low vibrational frequency emotion, they remain in your field. As long as they are not processed, as long as you haven't dealt with them, you have decided to put them behind and to delay or whatever, because whether that you don't have the tools to process them, whether that you don't decide that you don't have the time, there are things that are more urgent, okay, in life than taking care of your emotions, because you got to go to work and you got to feed the kids or you got to whatever, So all of this, of course, has a consequence on your general vibrational frequency. There is no emotion that you decide not to resolve that doesn't accompany you everywhere you go. Every time you open your computer, you have all those programs that open in the background. I don't need you today. Never mind, you're going to have to deal with us. Okay, we are all open for you on the desktop. Okay, so now let's see how much energy you have left to carry on with your day. Oh, you have 5%. Great, let's stay in bed. Okay, so all of this, of course, impacts your light vessel. Now, speaking about low vibrational frequencies, emotion, and patterns, okay, there are the patterns that are ours, that come, from whatever we have experienced in our life as a child or as an adult, situations that keep repeating themselves. Okay, situations that are unresolved, situations that trigger us, relationships that trigger us. Okay, those are ours. They can come either from this life, either from a different lifetime. Okay, but they are ours to take care of. Now we also have the patterns and wounds and imprints that we are holding as a collective. Okay? And these ones, they are affecting the collective light vessel. Okay. Now, why do we care about the collective light vessel? It's because in situation where the fate of the Jewish nation is at stake, we can only resolve that with a collective. There are some type of light work that can only be done with a collective. Why do we need minyan? Why do we need 10 men together and pray? Because this specific type of work need to be done as a collective. You also can pray at home alone. But the type of light work that you do when you are in a minyan, it's not the same. Okay, it's a different type of work. Even when you're 3, it's a different type of work than when we are alone. Okay, there are some light work I saw in Mekubalim. When they have to do some things, if they're alone, they wouldn't do it. They need to be at least 3. You know, so when you actually come together with many souls to come together, they decide to allocate their strengths to do a specific mission. They all it's like you have a tzedakah where you put some energy together and you say, let's use this tzedakah of energy to do something together. Of course, it's much more powerful. Okay. So now we know how important it is to have a clear vessel, because if we have clogs and anything that is low vibrational frequency constitute a clog in itself. And this is the signification of the word tum'a, mazet tameh, comes from satum. Impurity in Hebrew actually means stima, like a clog, something that blockage. Okay, that's what's impurity. Impurity is something that is creating a blockage. Okay, so the flow of energy cannot go through anymore properly. Okay, that's tum'ah. Something tameh is something that is creating clogs. As simple as that. And tell me, Sarah?
Say that's also why in the Second Temple there was such an obsession with Tum'ah, which they were holding just so much more light, and then the second we stopped holding that light, we don't care as much as about Tum'ah and Ta'ala.
Exactly. And that's why, for example, the oil needed to not be tameh, even if they were like, oh, okay, you can light your menorah, here's some olive oil. We just put, like a dead gecko touched it, But it's still oil. You can still use it. Why don't you want to use it? So clearing your vessel is about making sure that your vessel is not obstructed. Okay? By things that shouldn't be there, by clogs. Okay? And that the vessel is in good condition. Okay, it's not cracked, doesn't have any breaches, doesn't have any holes. Okay. Now, what can cause those clogs and what can damage your vessel? I remind you that your vessel is designed to hold a certain type of frequency. Not everybody is designed in the same way. The way Adam was designed was to hold a certain range of vibrational frequency. Within the children of Adam, when Noah gave the blessing to his children, he gave the blessing to Yafet, that he would have a relationship with God through the manifestation of God that appears as Elohim, which is the manifestation of God that appears through nature. And when he spoke to Shem, he told him, you will have a relationship with God that is through Havayeh, okay, which are two different teder, two different frequency in the divine light. Two different manifestations of the divine. Now, of course, Yefet, that is the father of the Occidental civilization, and Shem, that was the father of the Semite civilization. They mixed a lot, and today, even if people live in the Occidental civilization, and some people, we don't know who is who, okay? But I'm just bringing this up to remind the fact that, yes, there was a need for channeling different type of divine light on earth. And therefore, not everybody is configured in the same way. Not every vessel is configured in the same way for the reason that we are not supposed to channel the same type of vibrational frequency of light. All the descendants of Shem, they're supposed to connect through Havaye. But then within this connection through Havaye, of course, you find your own channels, you know. So for you, for example, that would be prayer. For some people, that would be connecting to the elements and, you know, connecting to universal consciousness. From people, you know, for other people, you know, everybody will have different things. But the first thing to open the channel is the Brit Milah. Okay? Because the Brit Milah is number 8. The connection to Havaye is represented through the number 8 in opposition with the connection through Elohim that is represented by number 7. And so the Brit Milah is supposed to initiate that the configuration of the vessel for this specific frequency. Okay.
And what about the girls?
The girls, they come configured already. And some people, guys who are born with the Brit Milah, same, they are already configured. By the way, this is the Ilula of Moshe Rabbeinu, who came with the Brit Milah. He was already configured. We are calling him in the circle, by the way. Let's call Moshe Rabbeinu with us. You know, I don't want to enter this subject too much, but the Orla, you know, of the Milah is one extra veil on the consciousness. And so the Brit Milah is to redraw that veil. And the girls, they don't have that veil. Women. Now, why do we need that? Because in times where darkness is becoming wilder, the only way we can actually transmute it is with light work. You cannot fight darkness with weapons. Okay? Now, how do we know that we are dealing with darkness and we are not dealing just with some crazy political situation? It seems quite obvious in the situation that we are now. What do you think?
It's something that we could see in all levels. It's not localized.
Mm-hmm. It's happening on the planet level. Intentions of coercion of humanity, of enslavement, like you can see like open agendas that are very reminiscent of the process of Mitzrayim. And because we went through this initiation, I would say that Egypt forced for the Jewish people an initiation, where we went within 210 years from being like at the top of the social scale to enslavement and to liberation. So that's a very short time to go from this to that. But we went through the whole process on how can you go from that place where you are, you know, so admired and looked up for, you know, to, as they were during the time of Yosef, to please help us. We need your contribution to build Egypt. You know, you're so valuable. We value so much your contribution. Okay? And of course, you know, the Bnei Israel always like, yes, let's be useful. Let's help, you know. The only one, by the way, who didn't do that is the tribe of Levi, that never became slave. Okay? And they went through it, and slowly, every day is like, oh, by the way, today we cannot pay you as much. Today, if you don't do that much, you're going to receive lashes. Yeah. So, so we have there the blueprint of how a society can become enslaved. Okay, that was just a parenthesis. Let's go back to the light vessel. Your purpose as a Jewish person to transmute light on a planetary level requires your vessel to hold a certain frequency. It's not just about having a clear vessel, a healthy vessel, it's also holding a certain vibrational frequency. Okay? Because you can have people that have very clear vessel and they wouldn't have the proper frequency to go to the certain places that is required to go to perform certain actions. So I was speaking about, yes, the patterns that we are repeating as individuals and the patterns that are being repeated as a collective, as a program that has been embedded in our DNA or in our line or in our collective consciousness. Okay? So in this group, we are taking care of we are, Bezrat Hashem, going to take care of the patterns that we are repeating as a collective. Okay.
You talk about Havaya and Elohim.
Mm-hmm.
As not being the same energy.
It's both God, but Elohim. We spoke about it longer on towards the light on video 1 and 2. But Elohim is the manifestation of God through nature, within the limit of nature, and Havaya, it's a manifestation of God that is beyond nature. So it means that we are required, that we are expected also to go out of our way in terms of how much is required from us. Whatever is required from us is beyond nature as well. And so that's why, for example, this is like we see that from the beginning when God spoke to Abraham. And Abraham could not have children. Barren. Yeah. So Sarah could not have children, and so Abraham did not understand the promise of the descendants. He said, "My wife cannot have children, and I'm old." And God told him at this moment. He told him, "צא החוצה וספור את הכוכבים, אם תוכל לספור אותם, כה יהיה זרעך." Get out of the box, okay? And instead of looking at the stars from below to above, come above and watch at the stars from above. You understand? So it means that if you are able to rise yourself upon the stars, then you're above the stars. But if you're not, then you're below as well. So it's up to you to decide which kind of connection you want to entertain. But as Jewish person, you're supposed to entertain the kind of connection that is rising yourself above the stars. If you can. Not all the children of Abraham wanted that. They did not all go for it. So, yes, Abraham had this contract with God, but he went out of his way. He had 10 nisyonot, and these nisyonot, they were not like small ones. Everything that he did was beyond nature. Absolutely beyond nature. And so this is our forefather. And Yitzhak and Yaakov, same. This is what was required from them. And this is why they have been chosen as the forefathers. And this is why the contract has been reconducted with them. Okay, so now that when the Torah was given with all kind of guidelines that are there actually to maintain the cohesion of the light vessel that is supposed to be held by the Jewish nation. There are different type of light vessel. For some people, they don't have the same purpose and the same mission. For them, it doesn't matter for so much to eat this or to eat that, because their type of connection will not be impaired by this type of low vibrational frequency. They can recycle it. I don't know how it works for them, the system, but it's not as dramatic. Now, I would say, for example, you know what? There was an amazing story that happened once. And it was a friend of mine. And she was telling me that they were in India and they went to see this amazing master that was living in a forest, and he invited her and her husband to go in his place. And her husband didn't want to because there were a lot of snakes there, a lot of, you know, a lot of animals, like they were really in the wild. So in the end, she told him, look, I'm really sorry, but my husband actually is scared to come because you have a lot of, you know, animals, it's all open, and he's scared about that. And then he told him, oh, I didn't know he was eating meat. This is what he said. I said, what? What's the connection? And actually, there I understood that, you know, first of all, they also have this teaching that the vibrational frequency of the meat or whatever you're eating is impacting your frequency, and therefore, like, if you eat meat, it means that you put yourself in the category of animals that eat each other. And by not eating meat, they put themselves in a category of people that don't eat each other, and so therefore they are not considered as food by other animals. Which was quite interesting. But so yes, when we eat meat, we eat meat that is supposed to have a very specific vibrational frequency because of all the rules that this meat is supposed to follow and being processed to before it reaches you. Okay? Now it's up to you to make sure that those rules are followed properly, so when it reaches you, it has a frequency that you want. Because if you're not sure of that, you might think twice about it. Because all the work that you're doing, praying, meditating, yoga, and everything that you're doing can be impacted by whatever you're eating. It's not because it has a kosher stamp that it's safe to eat, you know? So that was a parenthèse. So yes, Milena, taking care of the light vessel also goes by taking care of your physical body. Because you are your body also needs to be holy, and if your body doesn't feel good, you feel like disconnected from your body. You know, when you stop moving, you don't want to feel your body too much because it's like, oh, crack here, crack there, you know, doesn't feel good here. So what happens is that you disconnect more from it, right? Everything is sore, everything, you know, so you disconnect. Same like when you start taking weight, putting on weight, you don't want to feel your body anymore because it feels like bloated, it feels, not good. So you want to disconnect from your body. And when you disconnect from your body, you disconnect from part of the vessel. Because the body is partly the vessel. Of course, there is the ethereal part, but there is also the physical part. So in order to do a proper spiritual work, yes, it is required to have hygiene in terms of exercising and in terms of, feeling good in your body, which is difficult to do because, the more you are actually spiritual oriented, the more you think it's like, okay, I will do that tomorrow. Myself, I'm like that, I will do that tomorrow. Let's think about something more interesting today, That's a waste of time. That's not so interesting. But the truth is that it's not a waste of time and it's very important. So we spoke about how we maintain the vessel clear and clean by taking care of what we eat, of exercising, of resolving our unprocessed emotions, and also by shifting and resolving all the collective patterns and wounds and imprints that we have on a collective. Now, are we ensure that we have a high vibrational frequency? Mitzvah gedola liot besimcha. Okay, we have to make sure that we entertain joy. Okay, joy, gratitude. Moderni lefanecha is the first thing you say in the morning. Gratitude. Okay, and love. Joy, gratitude, and love are the frequency that your heart, the highest frequency that your heart can generate, that rise your vibrational frequency to the maximum that your vessel is currently able to hold, according to how well you worked on your clearing before. Okay? So if you worked well on the clearing before, you are able to hold a higher vibrational frequency. So when you are going to generate these emotions, you are going to be able to go higher and higher and higher. Okay? And that's what we are doing in Pesach when we don't eat chametz and we do all this clearing and cleaning. So now we are preparing the work for Pesach, is that we are making sure that the vessel would be clean and clear, so we are able actually to tap into the light of Pesach, that is the light of liberation. Okay, how can we become free? By set ourselves free from all the chains that are keeping ourselves in low vibration. And what are those chains? The programs, the patterns, the emotions that are unprocessed, all of those things that are clogging our field, then maintain us in a very low vibrational state. Okay, so now of course there are some mitzvot that Torah guidelines that are designed especially for the first part to clean and clear the vessel, and some mitzvot that are here to rise your vibrational frequency and ensure the connection with the divine. For example, tefillin, when you wear tefillin, that's the purpose of the tefillin, is to make sure that the device is properly connected and you can download properly.